In a world brimming with voices, Necessary Dialogue stands out as your go-to podcast, diving deep into the heart of social issues that shape our existence. We tackle everything from environmental challenges to social justice, exploring topics that ignite passion and drive change. And for the storytellers among us, authors looking to promote their books that resonate with these themes find a special spot in our dialogue. Are you curious? Inspired? An author with a vision? Find us and connect through the email in our About page. Necessary Dialogue isn't just a podcast, it's a beacon for understanding, action, and unity. Tune in, contribute your voice, and let's spark the necessary conversations today for a brighter tomorrow.
Watergate Scandal, 1972 to 1974. This cover-up involved the administration of U.S. President Richard Nixon, who attempted to conceal the involvement of his staff in the break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate complex in Washington, D.C. The subsequent investigation led to Nixon's resignation. Iran-Contra Affair, 1985 to 1987. During the Reagan administration, the U.S. government was involved in secretly selling arms to Iran, which was under an arms embargo, and using the proceeds to fund Contras in Nicaragua. This operation violated U.S. laws and the administration attempted to cover it up. Tuskegee Syphilis Study, 1932 to 1972. The U.S. Public Health Service conducted a study in which they withheld treatment from African American men with syphilis, despite the availability of penicillin. The study was kept secret for decades, leading to the unnecessary suffering and deaths of many participants. Project MKUltra, 1953 to 1973. The CIA carried out this secret program, which involved experiments on human subjects to develop mind control techniques. The program involved unethical practices and the destruction of many records, but some information was exposed through investigations and lawsuits. UFO Files, ongoing. There have been allegations of government cover UPS regarding unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and extraterrestrial encounters. In recent years, the U.S. government has declassified and released several UFO-related documents, indicating a long history of secrecy and investigations by agencies like the U.S. Air Force and the Pentagon. Operation Northwoods, 1962. Proposed by the U.S. Department of Defense, this plan involved carrying out terrorist acts on U.S. soil and blaming them on Cuba as a pretext for military intervention. The plan was rejected by President John F. Kennedy, but its existence was declassified in the early 2000s. Gulf of Tonkin Incident, 1964. The U.S. government initially claimed that North Vietnamese boats attacked American ships in the Gulf of Tonkin, which played a crucial role in escalating U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War. Later revelations and declassified documents suggested that the incident was misrepresented or exaggerated. Operation Paperclip, 1945 to 1959. After World War II, the U.S. government secretly recruited German scientists, including some who had been involved in Nazi war crimes, to work on various projects, including rocketry and intelligence. This operation was kept hidden from the public for several years. The Pentagon Papers, 1971. Daniel Ellsberg leaked classified documents to the media, known as the Pentagon Papers, which revealed the U.S. government's systematic deception and expansion of the Vietnam War. The documents exposed the true extent of U.S. involvement and its lack of progress, contradicting public statements. Iraqi weapons of mass destruction, 2002 to 2003. The U.S. government under President George W. Bush claimed that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, as a justification for the 2003 invasion. However, subsequent investigations and inspections failed to find evidence of WMDs, leading to allegations of a cover-up or intelligence failure.
Eric Weinstein on UFOs. This discussion delves into the complexities and skepticism surrounding the concept of interdimensional beings, UFOs, and government secrecy. It begins with a critique of the public's misunderstanding of terms like interdimensional and holographic in relation to extraterrestrial beings, highlighting the unfair treatment of David Grush, who attempted to provide an explanation of interdimensional concepts within his understanding but was met with ridicule. The conversation then shifts to the frustration with the lack of transparency and compartmentalization within government dealings with UFO information. It suggests that unless one knows the exact right questions to ask, information remains inaccessible, underlining the challenge in investigating alien visitation without a deep understanding of specific scientific concepts. The speaker expresses a change in perspective regarding UFOs, moving from skepticism to acknowledging the likelihood of secretive government programs related to UFOs, based on the consistency of stories from numerous individuals. This leads to speculation about the existence of a comprehensive cover story or program that serves multiple purposes, including misdirection and the safeguarding of secrets, possibly related to advanced technology or non-human intelligence. The narrative further explores the idea that significant advancements in technology and physics, possibly influenced by extraterrestrial sources, have been hidden or obscured by such secretive programs. It mentions historical figures in physics who may have been involved in research that goes beyond conventional scientific understanding, pointing towards the possibility of anti-gravity research inspired by advanced alien technology. Finally, the speaker reflects on the limitations of current physical theories and the importance of exploring alternative theories that might explain how interdimensional or extraterrestrial travel could be possible, emphasizing the existential significance of determining whether the universe is traversable. The discussion concludes with a sponsor message, unrelated to the main content, promoting a health product. Overall, this summary captures the essence of a speculative and thought-provoking discussion on the existence of interdimensional beings, UFOs, and the role of government secrecy in obscuring the truth, while also acknowledging the challenges in understanding and proving such phenomena within the constraints of current scientific knowledge. The statement made by Tucker Carlson regarding leadership and the necessity of killing is a highly controversial and contentious viewpoint that does not align with widely accepted principles of ethical leadership and governance. Leadership, in its most constructive and admired forms, is often characterized by qualities such as integrity, vision, empathy, accountability, and the ability to inspire and empower others. It involves making difficult decisions, certainly, but the assertion that leadership inherently requires killing is a stark and morally complex claim that overlooks the vast array of leadership styles and contexts in which killing is neither required nor condoned. In democratic societies, leadership is expected to uphold the rule of law, respect human rights, and work for the welfare of the population. The idea of leadership is broad and can be applied across various fields such as politics, business, community organizing, and more, where the concept of killing people as a requirement for effective leadership does not apply or is outright rejected. Ethical leadership emphasizes the importance of doing what is right and just, fostering a culture of transparency and accountability, and making decisions that benefit the community or organization as a whole. There are countless examples of leaders who have made significant positive impacts without resorting to violence or killing. The context in which Carlson's statement was made might reflect a particular perspective on political leadership and the use of force, possibly within the realm of national security or in the context of historical leaders who have waged wars or engaged in violent conflicts. However, it's critical to differentiate between the actions taken in exceptional circumstances, often debated and scrutinized for their ethical implications, and the assertion that leadership inherently involves such extreme measures. It's essential to engage in critical thinking and dialogue about what qualities and actions constitute effective and ethical leadership. This includes questioning broad statements that may oversimplify complex issues or suggest ethical justifications for actions that could be deeply harmful or unjust. Leadership should aim to uplift, protect, and foster the growth and well-being of individuals and communities, rather than being inherently linked to the capacity to harm.
Alexei Navalny, a prominent figure in Russian politics known for his staunch opposition to the Kremlin and President Vladimir Putin, has tragically passed away. Born on June 4, 1976, Navalny grew into a formidable force in Russian political life, distinguishing himself as a lawyer, anti-corruption activist, and political prisoner. Navalny's career was marked by his unwavering commitment to exposing corruption within Russia's political elite, utilizing his legal background to challenge the establishment. His efforts were not limited to the courtroom, he also leveraged social media and his blog to reach a wider audience, effectively bringing the fight against corruption into the digital age. His activism extended into the political arena, where he sought elected office and organized large-scale protests against the ruling government. Navalny's ability to mobilize and inspire led to widespread recognition both within Russia and internationally. However, his activities also made him a target for the state, resulting in numerous arrests, legal challenges, and even a near-fatal poisoning, which he attributed to the Kremlin. Despite these challenges, Navalny continued his work until his arrest in January 2021, following his return to Russia from Germany, where he had been recovering from the poisoning. His imprisonment led to international condemnation and calls for his release, highlighting the broader issues of political repression and human rights abuses in Russia. Navalny's death marks the end of a significant chapter in Russian opposition politics. He has been compared to figures such as Nelson Mandela for his role as a symbol of resistance against authoritarian rule. His legacy, characterized by his resilience and dedication to the cause of democracy and transparency in Russia, leaves an indelible mark on the struggle for political freedom in the country.
Nanoplastics, often referred to within the context of plastic pollution, are tiny plastic particles that measure less than 1 micrometer in size. These particles represent a specific category within the broader classification of plastic debris, which includes microplastics, less than 5 millimeters, nanoplastics, less than 1 micrometer, and possibly mesoplastics, 5 to 25 millimeters. The distinction between these categories is significant for research and environmental policy due to their varying impacts on ecosystems and human health. Nanoplastics originate from both primary sources, such as direct releases into the environment in their nano form from products like cosmetics, and secondary sources, which include the degradation of larger plastic items into smaller particles. The concern with nanoplastics lies in their potential for harm. Due to their minuscule size, they can easily enter biological systems, potentially leading to adverse health effects in humans and animals. These particles have been found to adhere to cells and tissues, leading to various toxic effects, including inflammation and cellular damage. The study and understanding of nanoplastics are crucial due to their pervasive presence in the environment and their potential for significant impact on both ecosystems and human health. Given their tiny size, nanoplastics can be more challenging to detect and study than larger plastic particles, posing additional challenges for researchers trying to understand their distribution, accumulation, and effects. Nanoplastic pollution has raised significant concerns regarding its impact on both animals and humans, primarily because of the unique challenges posed by the minuscule size of these particles. Here's a detailed look into how nanoplastic pollution affects animals and humans. Impact on animals. Ingestion and accumulation. Nanoplastics can be ingested by marine and terrestrial animals, either directly through polluted water and food or indirectly through the food chain. Due to their small size, nanoplastics easily penetrate biological membranes, accumulating in various tissues and organs. Health effects. Studies have shown that nanoplastics can cause inflammation, oxidative stress, and even physical damage to cells and tissues in animals. This can lead to a range of adverse health outcomes, including reduced growth, impaired reproductive function, and increased mortality rates. Aquatic species, such as fish, have been observed to suffer from developmental and reproductive issues upon exposure to nanoplastics. Behavioral changes. Exposure to nanoplastics has been linked to changes in feeding behavior, decreased predator avoidance, and altered activity levels in some species, potentially affecting their survival and reproduction. Impact on humans. Exposure pathways. Humans can be exposed to nanoplastics through various routes, including ingestion, via contaminated food and water, inhalation, through airborne particles, and dermal absorption. Seafood consumption is a particularly concerning pathway due to the accumulation of nanoplastics in marine organisms. Health risks. The potential health risks of nanoplastic exposure to humans are still being researched, but concerns include cellular toxicity, inflammation, and disruption of cellular functions. Nanoplastics may also act as carriers for other harmful pollutants, including heavy metals and organic contaminants, which can adhere to their surfaces and be co-transported into the human body. Research gaps. Despite the growing body of evidence indicating potential risks, the precise health implications of long-term exposure to nanoplastics in humans remain largely unknown. This is due to the complexity of studying such small particles and their interactions with biological systems, as well as the variability in particle shape, size, and chemical composition. Environmental and health policy implications. The pervasive presence and potential impacts of nanoplastics necessitate urgent research and policy interventions. This includes developing methods for detecting and quantifying nanoplastics in the environment and in organisms, understanding their behavior and fate in biological systems, and evaluating their health impacts more thoroughly. Regulatory frameworks may need to be updated to address the sources of nanoplastic pollution, mitigate their release into the environment, and protect public health. While the full extent of nanoplastic pollution's impact on animals and humans is still being uncovered, the evidence points to a need for precautionary measures to manage and reduce this form of pollution. Further research is essential to fully understand the implications and develop effective strategies for mitigation. Addressing nanoplastic pollution requires a multifaceted approach, combining efforts to reduce plastic production and consumption, enhance waste management practices, and develop innovative technologies for plastic degradation and removal. Here are some potential solutions and strategies to mitigate nanoplastic pollution. Prevention at source. Reduce plastic use, encouraging the reduction of single-use plastics and promoting alternatives, biodegradable materials, reusable products, can significantly decrease plastic waste generation. Product design and regulations. Designing products for easier recycling and longer lifespans, along with stricter regulations on plastic production and waste, can help minimize the release of plastics into the environment. Improved waste management. Enhanced recycling techniques. Developing advanced recycling methods that can effectively process various types of plastics can reduce the volume of plastic waste that ends up in landfills or the natural environment. Proper waste disposal infrastructure. Improving waste collection, sorting, and disposal infrastructure, especially in regions lacking adequate facilities, is crucial to prevent plastic leakage into ecosystems. Innovative cleanup technologies. Nanotechnology for plastic degradation. Research into nanotechnology offers promising avenues for breaking down plastics into harmless byproducts. This includes the development of nanomaterials that catalyze the degradation of plastics under specific conditions. Bioremediation. Utilizing microorganisms or enzymes that can degrade plastics into less harmful substances. Certain bacteria and fungi have shown the ability to break down plastics, including nanoplastics, under controlled conditions. Policy and regulation. International agreements, global cooperation and agreements on reducing plastic production, improving waste management, and investing in research for alternatives are essential to address the transboundary nature of plastic pollution. National and local legislation, implementing policies that limit the use of certain plastics, promote recycling, and impose penalties for improper plastic disposal can significantly mitigate pollution. Research and education. Investment in research, funding research into the sources, fate, and effects of nanoplastics, as well as potential mitigation strategies, is critical for understanding and addressing the issue comprehensively. Public awareness campaigns. Educating the public about the impact of plastic waste and the importance of reducing plastic use can drive consumer behavior towards more sustainable choices. Circular economy principles. Adopting circular economy models, shifting towards a circular economy, where products are designed for reuse, repair, and recycling, can significantly reduce waste and prevent plastic pollution. This includes creating market demand for recycled materials and designing products with their entire life cycle in mind. The complexity of nanoplastic pollution necessitates collaborative efforts across governments, industries, researchers, and communities. By implementing these strategies, it is possible to reduce the production and release of nanoplastics, mitigate their impact on the environment and human health, and move towards more sustainable and plastic-free ecosystems.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Poverty in America exhibits significant variation by age, with the overall poverty rate standing at 12.8% as of 2021. This rate, however, masks the disparities experienced by different age groups. Children under the age of 18 face a higher poverty rate of 16.9%, which is 4.2 percentage points above the national average, indicating a substantial burden of poverty on the younger population. In contrast, individuals aged 65 and over experience a lower poverty rate of 10.3%, which is 2.5 percentage points below the national average, suggesting relatively better economic conditions for older Americans. The methodology for measuring poverty involves comparing a family's or individual's annual income against a set of poverty thresholds that vary by family size, number of children, and the householder's age. Those with pre-tax incomes below these thresholds are classified as living in poverty. This measure excludes certain demographics, such as children under 15 who are not related to the householder, people in institutional group quarters, and those in college dormitories or military barracks. Geographically, child poverty rates vary considerably across states, ranging from as low as 8.1% to as high as 27.7%. With southern states and the District of Columbia notably having higher rates of child poverty. Similarly, poverty rates among the older population show geographic variations but are generally lower than the national average and the rates for children. The South, however, has several states with higher poverty rates for the 65-plus demographic as well. These statistics underscore the uneven impact of poverty across different age groups and regions in the United States, highlighting the importance of targeted policies and programs to address the specific needs of these populations.